What's going on today, y'all? You are tuning in to Thoughts of Dizzy right here on the Epic Lounge Network. I would just get right into it. I know a lot of people like to go back and forth and talk about different things and kind of just make the video go way longer than it needs to go. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share some thoughts about something. Obviously, that's what Thoughts of Dizzy is about. But I came across this video where, to me, I'm not going to say that the brother was lying or the brother, was misleading, but the caping was too hard. The pandering was too hard. It just gave me too much of a reminder of the Derrick Jaxns of the world. Anytime I see somebody that's not having a balanced statement, they're just completely going hard on one side of the situation, it's always a red flag to me. So I want to get into this real quick, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this video, and we can go through it together. So let's get right into it real quick and see what we got with this brother, man. What he talking about?
Fellas, it's time to stop hiding behind nostalgia and bad faith arguments. Y'all love to romanticize the past, talking about how women back in the day held their men down, stayed loyal, and never left. But let's be real. Do you actually know the full story, or are you just parroting the fairy tale version that was passed down to you? See, your grandfather's sins were swept under the rug. Your grandmother suffered in silence. And depending on when your mother came up, she probably shielded you from the ugly truth too. Y'all brag about how marriages lasted longer back then, like it was some kind of golden era of love and commitment.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I don't know what generation he's talking about, but I'm 37. In my years, I never seen or heard of a fairy tale regarding the men in my family, whether it was uncles, grandfathers, or anything like that. The women were pretty damn honest. So I would be moved to believe that these grandmothers that were speaking great on their husbands that's been together 20, 30, 40, 50 years probably meant it, because most of us black men, especially young black men, we hear all the negative connotations about us. Since daytime television, all men are dogs, all of these different conversations that would happen towards men or be targeted towards men. Even Anthony Mackie was talking about it. And that's something, I'm going to talk about on another platform on another day. But, the attack on masculinity, the attack on men. So I don't know what he's talking about when he says not getting the full side. If anything, most of us didn't get the full side, meaning the father's side. Whether the father was right or wrong, we only got our mother's side in most common situations. So he kind of lost me with that one. But we're going to keep going because, maybe he has some other solid facts.
Love and commitment. Nah. The real reason those marriages didn't end? Because women weren't allowed to leave. Legally, financially, or socially. Put yourself in those women's shoes. Imagine if your husband had multiple kids across town, but you had no legal way out. Imagine him bringing home an incurable STD and you couldn't leave. Couldn't even open a bank account to escape. Imagine finding out about the affairs, the outside babies, the gambling debts, the abuse, but having no resources, no credit, and no options. You had to stay.
Again, this is the part where it feels like escaping, because I don't know what example he is exactly given. Not to say that the things that he's saying aren't factual, because those things did happen in that time period and women did have to fight for certain rights. But what people need to understand, what a lot of our culture fails to realize, is that even with the feminist movement, it was white women having a problem with white men and bringing black women on to take on those problems and giving them the perception that they had the same problem as them. And that wasn't always the case. A lot of our black men went off to war, and when they came back, they had PTSD. A lot of the black men came back and they were still segregated against. So he's making it seem like, what I don't like about how this dude is going about it is he's giving the example as if black men were on the same playing field as white men. Black men still were being treated disrespectfully, still being sprayed with water hoses, still being lynched and everything else. But he's leaving that out. See, my thing is we got to add the full context. If we're going to talk about the plight of the woman at that time period, so be it. Those are the facts, no matter how much we like it or not. But you also got to give the full context of what's going on. Communities were destroyed. There's redlining that was involved. You're making it about a relationship, big dog, but you're not making it about the whole black experience. The other issue I have is while you're naming all of the plight and all of the problems that the women had, which would be our grandmothers, Y'all don't really want to have the real conversation of how some of these baby boomers are finding out that their father isn't really their father and they're at basically senior citizen age. Yeah, crickets. Because a lot of that stuff is coming out thanks to Ancestry and things like 23andMe, which I think they're going through bankruptcy. But the whole point is because of things like Ancestry, where people want to know where they're finding out that where they're from is not where they're really from. So again, I see the caping that's going on, but you got to give full context to both sides. Grandma and grandpa was doing things to each other. And maybe in some cases, not all cases, they stayed together because they understand that they understood that both sides contributed to the negative as well as the positive. But I'm going to keep going.
And let's talk about why grandma and grandpa slept in separate bedrooms. Y'all thought it was just old school love? Nah, grandma probably got tired of the cheating.
I never wonder why, because my grandmothers on both sides had no problem leaving them in. Yes, my grandmothers both have my aunts and uncles by different men. My father and my mother do not share the same father as all of their siblings. That's just my anecdotal experience. But I'm willing to bet that a lot of us in the black community have the same experience. So no, I never witnessed my grandparents staying in different bedrooms because they had no problem leaving them in. But you said that they couldn't leave. All right, brother. Well, I'm going to let you cook.
Tired of the disrespect? Tired of laying next to a man she resented but couldn't escape from? Some of y'all's grandfathers had whole secret families, and y'all chalk it up to that's how things were back then. Let's take it even deeper. The Equal Credit Opportunity Act wasn't passed till 1974. You know what that means? Before then, women couldn't even get a checking account, a business loan, a credit card, or a car loan without a man's approval.
Again, bro, you're playing off of the concept of what a man's approving. Were black men approving these loans, dog? Did black men have power to approve these loans for white women, black women, or any other women? We were still in the same boat. Everything that you're saying, big dog, is divisive. You're only catering to one side. And I get it. You got to get your stuff off, man, because, you know, it's easier and it's better for some of y'all to play off these women's emotions. I don't know why people can't find a different skill or talent, but bro, this is why you have a lot of modern women feeling the way they feel about men in their life or men in general, because you're giving some truth, but you're giving truth that leans more towards your argument regarding how men are. And by the way, you're a man. So if these women come at you with the same aggression, you're going to have that patience and you're going to have that understanding. I doubt it, bro. I really do. But go ahead and cook, brother, man.
So when your great-grandmother told her daughters, get an education, make your own money, never depend on a man, she wasn't promoting feminism. She was trying to prevent them from being trapped the way she was. And yet here y'all are in 2025.
Stop. If that's the case, then why are so many of these educated women going back to take care of their mothers? These same educated women that were told by their moms, some of these educated women came from abusive households from their mothers too. And even though they understood that abuse, they still have love for their mom because they gave them life, and they go back and they help out the family. They help out the drunk uncle. They help out the irresponsible mother that never got her stuff together, even though you did, despite the situations and the stigmas that you had to live through. Bro, what are you talking about? These women will get an education and then spend a big chunk of their financial success taking care of the family and mama. But all right, keep cooking, big dog.
Still crying on the internet about modern women having standards. Still crying on podcasts about how women don't submit anymore. Let's call it what it really is. Y'all don't miss traditional women. You miss unchecked male privilege. You miss a time.
Male privilege. The only male privilege I've ever experienced was from USPS, dog. And even they lose my mail, man. With male privilege? Come on, man. Yo, listen. Male privilege. I don't get male privilege when my package don't come in on time. Listen. No. There's no male privilege. There are double standards that I understand. It's not male. You are starting to sound exactly like a lot of these women out here that are upset and single. Bro, there's no such thing as male privilege. We not finna start that. Erase the hashtags. We not starting that move. How is a dude promoting male privilege in alliance with women? Dog, they not gonna like these women. No matter how much you preach, they only gonna take your content and say, look, even men feel that way, and they're still gonna feel that way about you, big dog. But go ahead, man. You'll see. We will see. We'll see how this plays out, y'all.
When men could cheat, manipulate, and abandon their families without...
Women do it too. Women cheat too. Women abandon their families too. You have to stop making these points about what men do as if women aren't doing it, and that is the main contributing factor to why things are not working. Look at the percentage rate at which men and women, specifically black men and black women, cheat on each other. It's not a wide gap. It's not a wide gap. Matter of fact, I think I gave y'all those stats on the Notion podcast. Go check out the Notion podcast on YouTube and go look at the thoughts of Dizzy when it was on the Notion podcast. And I'm pretty sure you'll find that episode where I give you the numbers, and it's not that far apart. But media and social media will make it seem like it's a wider gap, and that's not true. But go ahead, big dog. You cooking, man. You killing it.
Consequence. When women had no choice but to stay silent, endure it, and hold the family together. Because society gave them no other option. Some of y'all...
Society did give women an option. That's why when the feminist movement started and when the fathers came back from war, what happened? You have the Reagan era in the 80s, crack babies, which is a lot of the millennials, unfortunately. And what happened? Women got more benefits if the father was not in the home. Bruh, you are speaking some game, but you don't understand that this mainly applies to black women, the black community. This is not affecting the other communities as much as it's affecting the black community. On top of mass incarceration, redlining, and everything else that has happened to us, that's why we don't have a black family, bro. But continue to cook, man.
Y'all are mad at modern women, but the real issue is that men in your family failed you, and women cover for them. You were raised to believe in a version of masculinity that...
Not one man in my life was covered by any of the women in my family. As much as I love my father, rest in peace, who's been gone over 20 years, my mom kept it straight 100 about how she felt about my father at certain times and some of his struggles. Okay? So I don't know where you're getting this concept of fathers being protected. Bro, have you been on Instagram? I see you have an Instagram, big dog. I really do see that you have an Instagram. I don't see any women protecting their baby daddies. But you'll probably kick back and say, well, yeah, because of ... Nah, dog. Even in the movies, this is the problem right here. Programming, bro. We've been programmed to hate ourselves. We've been programmed to hate our women, and our women have been programmed to hate us. And we've been programmed to like everything else and believe everything else is successful and has value except for our own community. And we think when we get online and we pick a side that we're going to be supported. That's not true. I'm here to tell you, man. I haven't seen anybody get covered. Okay. A lot of my friends came out of single parent homes, and I don't remember seeing the parents being covered. I have some homies that were raised by their fathers and they have energy towards their mother because their mother was absent. See, we act like it's only one side, but I can count multiple friends of mine, multiple people I know that were raised by their father and they don't have that dynamic with their mom. It's not just one way. And I'm speaking on the community. I know he's kind of generalizing, but he's kind of targeting the black community. But I'm speaking on our community, bro. But go ahead.
Never required accountability. You were never taught how to be a good man, only how to be entitled to a woman's loyalty, no matter how.
We were not taught to be entitled to a woman's loyalty, but I will give you that. Not enough men were taught how to be men, and I will blame the men in general in our community. I will do that. You got me on that one, dog. More of us men and more of the men in the past should have stepped up and should be stepping up right now to teach these young men how to be men. However, if these women are not going to leave a space for men to come in, whether it's a mentor, a teacher, a coach, then we're still back at square one. If the father cannot do the job and the father will not do the job, you need to pick a uncle, a brother, some man that you completely trust, or at least majority trust, to help you with your son. That's what I'll say. So I'll give you that one. You got one, bro. You got one. At least the greens is done. You got to finish cooking everything else.
How poorly you treated her. So before you hop in another comment section talking about women don't build with men anymore, ask yourself, would you have wanted your mother or your grandmother to stay with a man like your grandfather? Exactly.
Okay, bro, it's not just about being in the comment section. A lot of men were excited of, what's her name? Doche, the rapper. That's from TDE. A lot of people were excited about her, thought her performances were dope, gave us the 90s feel. And then what did she say? Straight men are a red flag. So yes, there's great reasons. That's one out of the million reasons why men are saying women ain't really rocking with us right now, because of the outlandish thing that they're saying. Maybe they're saying this stuff for shock value and trolling. But bro, you need to really get on these platforms and listen to women like Cynthia G, who said that if women have boys, they need to get rid of it. And her page is deleted. So big dog, you need to pay attention to what a lot of these women are teaching other women. But I digress on that.
Exactly. Now sit with that. And remember, ladies, accept nothing less than queen treatment.
Y'all ready for the return of Derrick Jaxn? This dude went in. I would like to know if this dude had his father in his life. I would like to know who the male influence was in his life if he didn't have his father in his life, but I'm going to hope and assume he did. I want to know if he has daughters, if he has sons. I want to know what content do you have that's positive for men. See, when men make content like this, they're talking to, I would hope that they were talking to a group of men that really ain't nothing. I don't know why, but we spend a lot of time in our community talking about men that aren't contributing to the community. And you're wondering why that's all you're focused on. I'll give you an example. It's like a pilot, right? Say there's a pilot in training and you tell the pilot they're flying at a low altitude and they're by buildings. And they say, do not hit that red building that's about 5 or 10 miles out. Whatever you do, don't hit the red building. And he keeps saying that over and over and over again to the pilot in training. And the pilot in training crashes into the building and they do an investigation. They try to figure out what happened. Why did he still hit the building when he had so much time to not hit the building? You know why? Because that was the only focus, the building. We need to shift our focus. We need to talk more to the men with potential, and we need to talk more to the men that just need some minor adjustments. Why do we keep beating on a dead horse? Beating on a dead horse is not going to get you anywhere faster than you need to go. If you were walking, the horse is dead. It can't move. You have no ride. Ladies, it's up to y'all if y'all want to listen to bruh, but we've seen this before. We try to warn y'all about Derrick Jaxns. We try to warn y'all about the capers, but we're not going to do that no more. We're going to just start focusing on women that understand that we're not trying to be right. We're just trying to be understood. He debunked everything and was wrong. He was right about one thing, and I gave him his credit for that. Y'all do what y'all want, though. Anyways, you've been tuning into Thoughts of Dizzy. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think. TikTok, let us know what you think. YouTube, let me know what you think. All these platforms, let me know what you think. Let's really have a conversation. I know people are tired of this conversation, but I'm trying to find a way to shift it. Because I care about my culture. I care about my community. I care about the black women just as much as I care about the respect for the black man. Some people don't. Some people just want to line their pockets and they just want to troll and they just want to cape. But that ain't me. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, peace out.